Good afternoon and welcome to the NORTHCODERS Group PLC full year results investor presentation. Throughout this presentation, investors will be in listen-only mode. Questions are encouraged, can be submitted any time via the Q&A tab situated in the right-hand corner of your screen. Simply click Q&A, scroll to the bottom, type your question and press send. The company may not be in a position to answer every question it receives during the meeting itself. However, the company will review all questions submitted today and publish responses where it's appropriate to do so. Before we begin, we'd like to submit the following poll. I'd now like to hand you over to Chris Hill, CEO, and Charlotte Price, CFO. Good afternoon.
Hi everyone. Thank you very much, and thank you everyone to joining us. So we are really pleased to have our first ever results presentation as a PLC company. We have beaten the market expectation that we set out at our IPO back in July. So we're just really proud of everything that the team has done to get to this point. Talking to the team, I'm going to introduce the rest of the board who aren't here today. So I'll introduce ourselves first. So my name's Chris Hill, I'm the CEO, and Charlotte Pryor is the CFO who's with me today. We also have our Chief Operating Officer who's back in Manchester, Amul. Amul was one of our customers on our first ever coding course actually, and then he came on as an early stage investor alongside his brother, and he's still here today, and he mostly works on our corporate and commercial offering with businesses across the north. So introduce our non-executive directors. We've got a non-executive director from a chief financial officer background, Nick Parker, who's actually been with us for quite some time as an advisor and a consultant, and helped us to get through the IPO process. More recently joining us was Angela Williams, who joins us at non-executive chair. So Angela brings a wealth of experience as a PLC executive director. She's a chief people officer by trade, which is really important to our company, and she's also been at the forefront of many tech transformations during her career. She's worked as an executive for British Airways, for the Post Office, and for Land Securities PLC. So NORTHCODERS was founded in 2015, just towards the end of 2015, and we ran our first coding bootcamp course in 2016. I'm a career change myself, and previous to NORTHCODERS, I worked as a software engineer for a company, for Sky Bet in Leeds, and we just couldn't get software developers. Just everywhere that we looked, we were just always needing more and more people, and we just couldn't get anybody to apply for jobs. We tried multiple angles to get software developers into the organization. One of those which I was involved with was hiring university graduates, thinking that, if we went out to the careers fairs to attract people from university to come and work for us, gave them the best package, we'd get the best people. Go to the universities most renowned for computer science, we'd get a group of graduates that would be able to hit the ground running and really help us with our technical roadmap within the company. But it just wasn't the case. We got some great people and had some great underpinning knowledge of, yes, exactly that, computer science. But in terms of the everyday coding and software languages and frameworks and cutting edge technologies that we're required to use day to day in our jobs, we basically had to start from scratch with these people, which led me on to understanding that, you don't need a computer science degree to be a software developer. Coding bootcamps were gaining traction, certainly in the States and in London also. So the general idea was, let's get a cohort of people to learn how to code and see how we get on. On our first cohort, we actually placed every single person. On the right-hand side here, you can see some of the biggest brands that we work with to help fuel their need for skilled coders and close their digital skills gap. Our mission is to close the digital skills gap for businesses while creating life-changing opportunities for individuals. So people that come to NORTHCODERS, people that we train to make the most of these life-changing opportunities which are available to them, come from any background, from all walks of life. We've had people as young as 67 and as old as 17 join our course and succeed in becoming a software developer. We have a 94% success rate in terms of people that we train landing a job in industry, which we're super proud of, and that certainly beats quite a lot of much longer courses, some degrees that you'll see the statistics on, which take 3 or 4 years versus 3 months. We have 3 revenue streams within our company. We have our core coding bootcamp, which is mostly individual people who wish to become a software developer, and our learner acquisition team finds people who are right for the course. Our employer acquisition team finds people who wish to employ junior software developers, and we kind of match those people together to become a success story for our company. We've had people from partners in law firms, people on 0 hours contracts in supermarkets. We've had a busker who's now a software developer earning over £50,000. And we've also had the platform station announcer from Manchester Piccadilly train station all train with us and succeed in becoming a software developer with no technical background and in some cases no qualifications whatsoever. It's just really, really great to be part of a business which is profitable, cash generative, but is also creating those real fantastic life-changing outcomes for individuals, which we'll come on to when we look at some of our ESG credentials later in the presentation. Is that me done? Cool.
Yeah, so I will just go on to kind of talk through the revenue streams in a bit more detail. So our B2C offering, our consumer bootcamp, is a 13-week intensive full-time program. So the cost of the program is $8,500, including VAT, and this is paid for via several different payment options. So some of our students pay up front, some of our students take advantage of our student finance options, our loan options, or at the minute we actually have Department for Education funding so that we can offer scholarships for this type of course. We have our 13-month apprenticeships. So this is on-the-job training. So we will take companies that have employees that they wish to upskill or reskill, and then we will put them through the same course just on a less intensive basis. For this course, we get £18,000 worth of revenue per seat, and that is government funded. So that's from the Education Skills Funding Agency. And then we also have our corporate solutions division of the business. So if a corporate customer comes to us and the penny doesn't fit the slot, so they don't want to put someone on our bootcamp or they don't want to put one of their employees through our apprenticeship, then we will tailor a bespoke option for them. So this could be in the form of a bespoke training program for them to deliver in-house, or it could be that we will build their tech for them, or we could put them onto what's now called our developer incubator, which is a new product that we have, which basically gets their tech teams ready to then be able to deploy them back into the business.
Underpinning everything that we do is a balanced and flexible business model, which Charles just spoken about. We have multiple ways of putting together different modules to create many programs for many different businesses and many different industries. There's actually not very many industries that we haven't actually served as customers, clients. We have once had a thought that we've not done the energy industry because we've never worked with one of the big gas companies, but actually we have worked with many a green energy supplier, so we've also worked in that sector too. It's not also just about your blue chip sort of super high tech companies that are looking to have people in software development with technical skills. Everybody and every company is looking to be more technically savvy and have more digital skills within their organization, and coding underpins many aspects of that. We actually last year had a egg farm hire a software developer from us, which is something that I probably never expected when we started the company 5 years ago. And also underpinning our success is the way that we make sure that we only attract the best people to apply for our opportunities. So we have an entry challenge for the course, and that is literally sort of a 2 to 3 week process whereby people must learn the fundamentals of software programming kind of on their own. We do have some platforms that we are building out, and also some sort of short free courses available for people to get a taste of it. But then to be considered for the bootcamp, they must pass the test, and it's around 7 to 1. It's around 1 in 7 people that we take from the pool who are interested through to actually taking a seat on the coding bootcamp or on an apprenticeship, and thereby that's how we get to a result of 94% of people succeeding and almost every single person that we take on completing our course. So just a few of the awards that we've won over the years. Now I understand that you see many a company who may have won awards left, right, and centre. What does it really mean? For us, what it means is that we've got a super team within our business, because we've got the ability to win awards which are usually given to really super fast growing high technology focused companies, but at the same time we've got elements of our business which are regulated by Ofsted. Our apprenticeship company is subject to Ofsted inspections. So to be able to comply with things like that, but as well as also be seen to be, super tech savvy and really, really fast growth and really agile as a business, we're really, really proud. We're really, really proud of that. Okay, so a lot of people ask about, like, who's your competition, Chris? What's going on with the, universities? Surely, the universities are starting to do things like this now, and large, big apprenticeship companies like the colleges or the big providers as well. So we firmly compete, stay on the agile competitive edge by making sure that everything we teach really is the latest technologies. Our tech team are also consultants that go into businesses and go into work on live software projects, whether that be for us or for external clients. So they know exactly what are the trends, what we're following. We make sure that we get people coming out of NorthCoders, a company, saying, if you want someone that hits the ground running in your software development team, you go to NorthCoders. It's very, very different to how long it takes for traditional educational establishments to come up with new curriculum and move on like that.
So we've just got some recent kind of quotes and stuff from that's been flying about on the internet recently, just to kind of highlight the really significant demand and the growing market that we are experiencing at the minute. So 2/3 of UK businesses plan to invest in tech training for employees, and the fact that half of all UK bosses plan to hire new tech staff this year. So that kind of just underpins the fact that this is not just one sector. This is not just the tech industry. The demand is coming from all different industries, and we are post IPO. We're in a really, really good position to be able to really take advantage of all that demand as we move onto our growth path and through our strategy.
Okay. ESG. Oh, that's one.
Yeah, so we just have some statistics on here that we are really proud of as a company. So NorthCoders really champions diversity and inclusivity. It's at the heart of everything that we do. We have teams set up, and we have things in place to really try and bridge the gap between the low percentage of women and people from diverse backgrounds in the tech industry. We hear a lot from our partners and from the businesses that we work with that it would really benefit them to have more diverse teams. So that's something that we really champion, and we really want to try and make a change for in the industry. We have been awarded with, we've had awarded 294 fully funded Department for Education scholarships. So this is something that we're really pleased that we've been able to do. This completely makes the course accessible to people from all walks of life that maybe wouldn't have been able to afford it before, which also will really diversify the industry.
Okay, we'll move on to the financial review and the year end now.
Yeah, so I'll just talk about some financial highlights from our results. So we're really pleased to report that we had 124% increase on revenue from 2020. So we met our market expectation of 3 million revenue. We can also compare that to our most recent kind of non-COVID year. So if we look back at 2019, which was our highest ever revenue year of 2 million, we've also smashed that as well. We reported a gross profit margin of 72%. So we aim to move back towards our target of 79% that we've seen in 2019. So we are steadily moving back towards that level, and this is driven by the cost benefits of the new hybrid model. We now are able to teach a lot more people at once. We need a lot less tutors to reach the type of demand that we want. So we're really happy with that. Our adjusted EBITDA, so we report EBITDA and we adjust it to take away non-underlying costs. So we remove the IPO costs and we also remove share-based payments. So this, we're really happy to see that this has gone from a loss of 0.3 million to a profit of 0.4. This just shows that our underlying profits are good, and as we move into future years where there's not going to be them non-underlying and them exceptional items like the IPO costs, we're in a really good position moving forward. We also reported net assets of 2.2 million, of which 1.6 million was cash. So that puts us into a really good position moving forward throughout our growth plans.
Okay, thanks, Charlotte. And we obviously are just, as I said at the beginning of this presentation, we are really, really happy with these results. We've beat the expectation of the profit. Obviously, I know it's quite easy for a company to have come and done an IPO, which was a huge distraction. It took loads of our time last year, and then find it being a little bit of a struggle to actually meet your first set of results or subsequent ones. So yeah, we're just really, really happy to have done that, and it's put us in a fantastic position for this year also, where we've got over 55% visibility of our revenue targets, of the market expectation for our revenue this year. In terms of operationally, we are ahead in terms of our costs and our underlying profits. So we are really in a fantastic position to do the same again with this financial year also. So I'm going to skip within the slide deck, which will be available to download. There is some much more detailed tables on the income statement, which you'll be able to acquire should you be interested in seeing more detail. And we're going to go into a few more parts of the operational review of the company and what's happened over the past year. So at our IPO, we set out a strategy of doing a regional rollout of hubs. Now, what a NORTHCODERS hub is a small place where people can come. Think of as opposed to our traditional business model was we used to have lecture theatres. We used to be doing the same delivery of the content in Leeds as we did in Manchester. People jumping on the Transpennine Express to get from one place to the other to help out on like the crunch days when it was busy. And then obviously during the pandemic, all that was taken away and everything was done completely 100% online. What we wanted to do with our hybrid delivery model was take all the best parts of our old business, like the building of community, the fact that learners can come together and help each other and really work together, meeting with employers and networking, just that kind of stuff that I think everyone will realise that we missed when we were literally all sat in our houses for however long it was. So that was the plan, was to get the message out there. We need to hire someone in learner acquisition, a person in employer acquisition, and spend some money on marketing, and then roll out into these regions. But now a NORTHCODERS hub is no longer like the campus in Manchester was 10,000 square foot. We had two big kind of like lecture theatres. Think of like in a university. Now a hub is more like a WeWork for learners to kind of come together, come in once or twice a week, get the best part of that togetherness, and thrive within their learning, meet each other, and do all the best bits. But still, it's not a massive overhead for us as a company. So we now have 4 hubs: Manchester, Leeds, Newcastle, and Birmingham. The plan was initially at the IPO for next year to have a hub in Liverpool and Sheffield also. We actually feel that we can accelerate that now and do those 2 this year faster than we set out to do. And we also have an interesting hub, which is a partnership with Grimsby Town Football Club through a friend of NORTHCODERS, Jason Stockwood, who's best known for being CEO of Match.com and more recently Simply Business, for those that know that company. And he's just really keen on making sure that opportunities that are available, these life-changing opportunities that are available for individuals, that he's making sure that in his hometown and through the football club that he loves and now owns, that everyone's got the awareness of this. So we're going to be opening a hub in Grimsby Town Football Club, which is actually in a partnership with Lincoln Football Club too, and spreading to also a regional hub in Hull. But as we can see from the where we taught our students from, we've had someone from as far as Hong Kong, so we're not reliant on like a physical premises to be able to deliver our business model. When there was like the more recent lockdowns, once we transformed the company into being this hybrid model, which is so much more efficient, we had no negative effects of the lockdowns, where we ultimately had to almost stop running our business for a few weeks while we pivoted to the new model. So that's really good. We also have our corporate solutions division, which we're putting focus on. We've always done some corporate work. It's mostly been very bespoke software engineering services, but we're also spreading out our business in more sort of horizontal growth into like data engineering, being one of the areas that's becoming increasingly popular, and also seems to be less people doing data engineering. We recently signed a solutions contract with Rolls-Royce, and that's worth about 250,000. That's actually a similar model to the company FDM Group, who are on the FTSE stock market with over $1 billion in their market cap. There's a hire, train, deploy model. This is very similar, whereby NORTHCODERS hires some people, trained them up in data engineering, and then we've deployed them as a team with a senior engineer to look after them into Rolls-Royce, into their data science teams. And we've got multiple conversations. We signed a new contract literally just now, and we've also got conversations with some really big companies, many on the FTSE 100 market. Some of the conversations we're having are programs which are 4 times that size. So that is a big area of growth for us, and we hope to see more of a split of our revenue between boot camps, consumers, apprenticeships, education, and solutions, which is B2B corporate.
Yeah, so we've just got a few kind of statistics here, a few highlights from the year. So we had a record amount of demand in 2021. We received a lot of applications, and which has kind of created a really good pipeline as we've gone into 2022. We were really pleased to announce that we enrolled 99 apprentices onto our apprenticeship course in the year, which is a new line of business for us. And we're just excited to go into 2022 with a really, really functioning business unit. We've grew our teaching team in the period, and then further growth in 2022. So we currently have 42 staff on the teaching team and 80 staff in total now. And then we're proud to say that our average starting salary that our graduates went to earn has increased to 26,488, which is an increase from about 25,000 in the previous year. So we will continue to kind of focus on these operations. We want to increase accessibility. We want to keep adding more kind of finance options to the group, and really just kind of take advantage of this increase in demand.
Okay. So I've just been looking through the questions, and we have 4 questions, and we can probably answer all of those. So I was going to see who's the best person for each question. In terms of highlights as well, we've also been working within our apprenticeship company, NORTHCODERS Tech Ed, which is a separate business which we bought over a year ago now. I've been working with the government on the Skills Bootcamp initiative, which is basically the government saying, and we've been involved in this conversation for a long time, this course seems to work really, really well. NORTHCODERS, you got a really, and I've been talking to a couple of other, well-known, good quality providers too. How do we actually, use government funding to be able to train people quickly and for people to ultimately be, training for the jobs of tomorrow as opposed to jobs that are going to ultimately be made redundant. And we literally got wind of a conversation we got wind of news from the Department for Education that all those trials and those conversations have been a huge success, and over the next 4 years they're going to be putting £1.5 billion into skills boot camps. Now that's obviously not only software engineering, but we are also doing other things here at NORTHCODERS. But in terms of the amount of money that's going into that, it does just show a long-term commitment to kind of those levelling up agendas, and everyone always seems to think with government funding it's like there's going to be like smart meter phenomenon, that as soon as they say smart meters aren't free anymore, then that's it, the tap's turned off for the companies that do nothing but install those. Now we've obviously got a diverse streams of revenues, but also things like that do show real commitment to digital skills and skills of tomorrow from the government, from the funding vehicles that support education companies. So the question is the revenue profile.
So we seem to have a few financing questions, which is brilliant. So if we can do you want to just pop back onto the financial slides?
Yeah.
Do that, and then we'll run through. We did kind of skip past them, didn't we? So let's go into a bit more detail.
Which one, Charlotte?
Charlotte, while you're just trying to find the slides, I might just jump in and just say to all the attendees, if you do have your questions, please just click on that Q&A tab and send those through now. Just as the team take a few moments to review those questions, and we'll cut straight into them. So Charlotte, back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. So what is the revenue profile? How much visibility do you have going forward, and how do you scale up what is needed? So in the year, if we look at the 3 million revenue, that is split across our 3 different revenue streams. So it was 34% apprenticeships, 47% boot camps, and 19% corporate solutions. So we have, as Chris said, we've got that 55% revenue visibility going into 2022. So that is It's mainly around the fact that our apprenticeships are 13-month programs. We get a lot of visibility there, and we've also signed some corporate contracts, and then we've signed the contract with the Department for Education as well, which provides us with a lot of visibility. But super happy that we are now in a position as a business where we can forward look and we can see that revenue visibility. How do you scale up what is needed? So basically, we've got all our teams in place. We have ramped up cohort sizes. We have just in January we did our biggest ever cohort of 104 people, and we will just keep upping them numbers. We've got all the infrastructure in place. We've got all the software in place to kind of create them efficiencies. So we're in a really good position to scale up.
Cool. For Simon. Sorry.
I was just.
I'll do, as this case, Simon's asked two questions. So I'm going to say, Charlotte's answered the first question by Simon about the revenue split from obviously apprenticeships are government funded, coding boot camps are consumers, and corporate revenue is the solutions. So that's stuff. Then the second one is recruitment is finding tutors. The problem is in, are we also experiencing a problem that we're trying to solve? So we have two different, we have a core tech team, which are ultimately scalable across, well, in theory, hundreds of thousands of learners. And they are the 6 people there is in that team that are responsible for the content, for making all the preparation and delivery of workshops, because all the workshops, whether you're in a hub, whether you're in Hong Kong, or whether you're literally in Manchester or Leeds, are delivered online. And then the rest, so those people, we have a fantastic package for retaining staff and team members. In general, we have a 4.5-day working week, which we're looking to improve upon. We also have a scheme for that team, especially and more senior people, which is our share option scheme, which is going to see that team as we succeed and as we grow our share price, they will also benefit from the share options that have been put in place for them at our IPO. But we have mentors as well. So that is, you have basically 8 learners, you have 1 mentor. Now we are investing in our intangible assets to improve on the efficiency of the course material and the delivery of it, and we've got some machine learning on our help desk and so on as well, which is going to help us improve the scale, the ratios and ultimately the cost. But those people are people we hire them directly from the coding bootcamp ourselves, so we always have a stream of people coming through, people who we think are ultimately the best people. We'll have the earliest conversation with them before anyone else gets to talk to them, if you like. And they are usually the people that come on to, say, mentor with us for 1, 2, 3 cohorts, depending on how they feel. And then they may well go on to a contract, like an incubator contract, like the one that I mentioned with Rolls-Royce, where we have to deploy them into a business, and they're an employee of ours, but they are contracted to a corporate solution with a company. So I hope that answers that question. And then we've got Stephen's question.
Per the cash flow statement, I don't know if you want to flick onto that one, please, Chris. There was a £1 million cash outflow from operations due to an increase in receivables. Can you talk through this and whether it will reverse out in 2022? So yes, there is an increase in receivables there year on year as we move into 21. This is due to basically the growth weighted towards the end of 2021, which also caused the payment terms to kind of push into 2022, and that's the main cause of that receivable increase. We also, the payment terms are a bit longer on the Department for Education funding, just because of stuff that we need to do to claim the funding. So because that ramped up in the last part of the previous year, that caused that number to increase as well. And yes, it does reverse out in 2022. There was a bit of a timing issue which caused that high number.
Cool.
Thank you. You've picked up all the questions. And of course, if any further questions that do come through, the company will be able to review those and will publish responses where appropriate to on the Investor Meet Company platform. Chris, perhaps before redirecting investors to provide you with their feedback, which I know is particularly important to you, I could just ask you for a few closing comments, please.
Yeah, I think the closing comment is just, we are super happy with everything that we've done since our IPO, and we're really happy with the value that we have and that we've managed to meet the expectations of our new investors. that have stuck with us through the process. That's both people who were shareholders before the IPO and that came in with the fundraise at that time. We're in a really confident, fantastic position for this year. We've come into the year, we've really like our biggest intake ever to really kick off from January with some, with our sort of best monthly and quarterly revenue numbers that we've ever had. And we beat the expectation for the profit last year, and we're feeling in a really confident, great spot for this year, and just excited to get to the next set of results, which will be the interim results in September, which we think by then we'll have visibility of the entire of the year's market expectation in terms of revenue, and we'll also have a much better publishable figure on where we are with expectation in terms of profit and whether we're likely to be able to beat it like we did last year. And thanks everyone for listening, would be what I would say.
Fantastic, Chris, Charlotte, thanks indeed for updating investors today. Could I please ask investors not to close their sessions, be automatically redirected to provide your feedback in order the team can better understand your views and expectations. This will only take a few moments to complete and they'll be greatly valued by the company. On behalf of the management team of NORTHCODERS Group PLC, we'd like to thank you for attending today's presentation. That concludes today's session, and good afternoon to you all.
Thank you.